The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, Republicans are blocking a vote on Trump's tariffs in this rule, and I think it's pretty obvious why. The consequences of his economic policy are being felt in communities across this country, and Republicans know they can't defend it. That's why they're not doing town halls. Moms and dads are coming home with pink slips because their employers don't know if they can keep the doors open. Small businesses are shuttering. Farmers are struggling under higher input costs and shrinking markets. Food, gas, electricity, basic goods and services, prices are all up, and they're likely to climb even higher as Trump's tariffs ripple through the supply chain. It is clear that the Trump economy is not working for average Americans. President Trump and Republicans promised to reduce inflation. Instead, last month we saw the largest monthly increase in inflation since January. They promised to reduce grocery prices. Instead, last month grocery prices spiked at the fastest pace in 3 years, driven in part by tariff-fueled costs. They promised to cut electricity prices in half. Instead, August electricity prices were 6% higher than they were a year ago. And Americans are having to navigate a weakening job market and rising costs. Fruits and vegetables are up nearly 2%. Dairy products are up 1.3%. Cereal and bread are up 1.1%. And meat, poultry, fish, and eggs are all up a whopping 5.6%. Give me a break. Mr. Speaker, let's be frank. The only winners in Trump's economy are millionaires and billionaires. He packed his cabinet with the rich and well-connected. Republicans' reconciliation bill hands out nearly $100,000 in tax cuts for those making over $1 million a year in 2027 alone. And just last week, the Trump administration started rolling back efforts to crack down on offshore tax shelters that billionaires and giant corporations use to avoid paying their fair share of taxes. Like, who does that? Mr. Speaker, Trump promised an economy for the American people, but time and time again, his tariffs and his policies have only delivered for the ultra-rich, while families and farmers and small businesses pay the price. We ought to be voting on this stuff. I reserve my time.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from New York is recognized.
Again, more and more class warfare, Mr. Speaker. I mean, we hear the term millionaires and billionaires thrown around. Yet every single one of them voted against all of the tax benefits that would have helped the middle class and will continue to help the middle class. They voted against no tax on tips. They voted against no tax on overtime. They voted against doubling the child tax credit. They voted against doubling the standard deduction. All things that put serious money back into the pockets of my constituents. Now, my colleague, $1,800, $2,000, $2,500 might not seem like a lot to him, but it might be 2 mortgage payments to my constituents. Yet every single one of them voted no. So I will not be lectured, and none of us should be lectured, by people that stood in the way of getting that tax code made permanent. I reserve the balance of my time.
Gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
Is the gentleman talking about the reconciliation bill that the Republicans brought to the floor that resulted in trillions and trillions of dollars and more debt, all to give multimillionaires and multi-billionaires a tax cut? I mean, I'm sorry. If there's class warfare going on here, I know what side my Republican friends are on. Mr. Speaker, millions of everyday Americans all across the country are about to get notice that their health care premiums are going to skyrocket, including in the gentleman's district. Moms and dads and grandparents, people working 2 jobs just to get by, are going to be at their kitchen tables facing the awful decision of which bills to pay. And for nearly 24 million people in this country who have ACA Marketplace health insurance, premiums will increase on average 93%. A 60-year-old couple making $80,000 per year will see their premiums increase over $17,000 per year. That's like $1,400 per month. A family of 4 earning $64,000 will owe an extra $2,600 in health care premiums every year. Where on earth are families supposed to find this kind of extra money, Mr. Speaker? We're talking hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars. That's not extra change that you can find in your couch cushion. It will mean 5 million people, including 2 million with chronic conditions, lose their health care coverage altogether. It will mean older adults have to choose between paying their high energy bills or affording their health care. It will mean families going without food because their health care premiums are unaffordable. It will mean people fall behind on their rent just so they can afford basic health care. in the United States of America, the richest country in the history of the world. This is a crisis, Mr. Speaker, and it is a crisis of the Republicans' own making. Instead of spending the summer working with Democrats to address this looming health care cliff, Republicans spent it instead slashing Medicaid by $1 trillion, kicking 15 million people off their coverage altogether, blocking access to cancer screening and prenatal care by defunding Planned Parenthood, cutting NIH's budget, taking food away from families with teenagers, veterans, and older adults, which will make them less healthy, all to give tax breaks to Elon Musk and Trump's billionaire friends. Honest to God, Mr. Speaker, I have no idea what to say to the working families who visit my office scared to death that their health care costs are going to force them to go broke. I don't know how my Republican friends can talk to people back home in their districts, regular people, hardworking people, and somehow justify what they're doing. I guess many of them don't because they don't do town halls. And with all due respect to the Speaker of the House, no, this actually cannot wait. I understand why you're trying to minimize the crisis that you created. I really do. But hardworking people back home are counting on us, Mr. Speaker. Congress must address this looming health care crisis now, including one of the most significant health care premium hikes in history and the historic cuts to Medicaid that are closing hospitals and nursing homes on a daily basis, to give families peace of mind that they won't go bankrupt trying to afford their health care. I reserve.
The gentleman from New York is recognized.
I reserve.
The gentleman from New York reserves. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized. The gentleman from Massachusetts is recognized.
How much time do I have left, Mr. Speaker?
1 minute.
1 minute, okay. I'm losing my voice, but not my passion. Mr. Speaker, the truth is simple. Families are being crushed by high prices, rent, groceries, gas, health care, all going up. And what are Republicans doing? They're obsessed with micromanaging Washington, D.C. Not one, not two, not three, but 4 different bills today about Washington, D.C. Now, I hate to break it to the Republicans, but none of the people that I represent, and I think none of the people from the gentleman's district, live in Washington, D.C., which leads me to wonder why the hell are Republicans wasting time on this nonsense. And the other bills that we're dealing with here, favors to big coal and big oil, again, nothing for regular families from these guys, nothing for average Americans. They have no vision, no plan for economic growth. I mean, the bottom line is health care premiums about to go through the roof, and people are going to see their health care bills explode because these guys refuse to act. Republicans are putting ideology over everyday people. They're putting headlines over solutions. They are playing games instead of governing. All of this, micromanaging D.C., the coal commission garbage, is what Republicans are focused on while the government teeters on the edge of a shutdown, while Trump's tariffs drive up prices, and why millions of people are about to get kicked off their health insurance. I urge a no vote, and I yield back my time.
Gentleman from New York is recognized.